Hello YouTube! Are you going to start beekeeping this year? In this video, I'm going to cover some of the cost of equipment, the cost of the actual bees, and some items that you may not be aware of that you need to start beekeeping. I'm also going to go into the items that you need for the first year as well as going into the second year so you have a head start. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'll share some of the ways that I've recouped money keeping bees to make this hobby a little less expensive. For those who don't know me, my name is Mike. I'm a small farmer and homesteader. My wife and I purchased our property with the hopes of being self-reliant, growing most of our own food, and doing it in a sustainable way. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys, beekeeping is not a cheap hobby to get into, and it's most definitely an investment for the first year, especially if you're going to be getting a package of bees. Even with the nucleus colony, if you don't have drawn comb yet, drawn comb is worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. I've found this over 3 years of beekeeping now, that the more comb that you have, the better your bees will do. Your bees get a head start, they're able to lay brood and collect pollen and nectar, all of which helps the hive thrive and grow at a rapid rate. I'm also going to tell you that if you're going to start beekeeping, you don't just want one hive, you want at least 2 hives for the event that one hive is weak and it's not doing that well, whether it be mites or different diseases that bees run into, or the weather dependent. If the hive is not strong and it's raining a lot, they're not going to be able to go out and gather. So 2 hives, guys, because you're able to take brood from one and put it into the other, which will increase the productivity as well as the numbers of the bees so they have more forces. Another thing that people might not be aware of is swarm management. Bees reproduce by swarming each year. They'll take the old queen and half of the workers and head out, finding a new place to build a colony. It's just nature doing its thing. That's how the bees reproduce. If we can mitigate that as beekeepers and catch these swarms, in essence we could be doubling our bees and stopping any losses and increasing our colonies. I'll be basing my pricing off of Mannlake. This video is being filmed March 10th, 2024. I'm going to list all of the pricing right here, and I will do a compilation of the total price for your first year beekeeping at the end of the video. Now, you have different options when it comes to your brood boxes. You can either do a single deep or a double deep. Depending on where you live, you might want to do a double deep like I do. I'm up in New Jersey in the northern climate, so it does get cold in the winter. This allows the bees to migrate and move around as the temperature changes. If you're more southern, you might do a single deep box. Both of these methods, single deep or double deep, have their own disadvantages. If you guys want me to talk about that, I'll make a video. Just drop a comment below. There's also 8 frame boxes as well as 10 frame boxes. Again, they have their own advantages and disadvantages. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you guys want to see another video about that. I personally go with 10 frame hives. So being that we have our deep boxes, we're going to need frames to go with that. We need 10 frames per hive. Usually they're about $1.56 to $1.75 per frame. And I don't suggest this as a first year beekeeper, but if you wanted to go a more natural route, you could go foundationless and save a couple of bucks. But honestly, foundation is the way to go. It gives the bees structure and tells them exactly where you want their comb to be built versus dealing with a mess. Another thing you're going to need is going to be hive stands. I use cinder blocks with 4x4s. You could also go with cinder blocks. It's a much cheaper option, or even I've seen pallets as a base. You're also going to be needing a top cover, bottom board, as well as an inner cover. Some beekeepers will suggest against the inner covers. If you ever get hive beetles, they will hide in those little wedges in the grooves. I do use inner covers. I'm able to use feed if I needed to feed my bees. If I wanted them to draw comb, I could put a thing of feed up on top of the inner cover and allow them to feed while still having all the frames available and not have to use a frame feeder. So we have our deep boxes, our medium boxes where we're going to store our honey, top cover, inner cover, bottom board. Let's talk about bees, guys. A package of bees is going to come with 3 pounds of bees with a queen, and you're going to be dropping them into these boxes that are hopefully pre-waxed foundation, and they're going to have to start from scratch. So the bees are going to have to draw comb. In order to do that, you're going to need to feed them. They're going to be slow to start. You're probably not going to get any honey at all the first year, unless you live somewhere extremely warm and you're able to order your bees early. Most places that are going to ship packages of bees don't ship them until April. and they usually run from $170 if you pick them up to $225. If you have a nucleus colony, that is a colony that's already established. The queen is in there, she's laying. You're going to have 5 frames of drawn comb. That's going to come with a frame of food, a frame of brood or baby bees, and a frame of pollen, and usually 2 blank frames so that the queen has an area that she could lay new eggs. If you get a nucleus, you're able to drop that directly into your 10-frame hive. That gives the bees such a head start for the fact that they're able to constantly lay and create new bees. They have stores built up already, and they're able to start drawing immediately without halting any of their production process. So now, once we have the equipment to keep the bees, we have the bees themselves, we're going to talk about the beekeeper. As a first-year beekeeper, I'm going to absolutely suggest that you guys get a veil as well as a jacket. You could find these pretty cheap on Amazon, usually ranging from like $20 or so for a veil to like $75 to $100+ for a jacket. You're also going to need a smoker as well as a hive tool so you could pull the frames up, because believe me, they get super heavy, and in the summer with the honey flow going, they're sticky, and they stick them down with propolis, which is basically bee glue, be extremely difficult to lift up. You're also going to want a good pair of gloves so you don't get stung. Now, I suggest wearing full gear, whether you're wearing jeans. Jeans are pretty sting proof. They will get into your pockets once in a while and get you that way, but until you get used to working with the bees buzzing around your face, it's super intimidating at first. You will get stung, and when you mess up, they let you know it because they'll sting you. With gear, it mitigates that risk of sting a lot, and I definitely suggest all new beekeepers using protective equipment until you get comfortable working your bees. Some miscellaneous items that you might need, guys. If you have bears or skunks in your area, you're going to need electric fencing. I use a 2-mile solar charger, so I don't need to actually plug in directly. And then I'm using a high tensile wire instead of a poly strand. There's also the insulated post that you're going to need, and they run anywhere from $2 to $3 each. You're also going to need a honey extractor, as well as some food grade buckets, a sieve screen, and some honey gates. I'll be posting all these items in the description below. Just letting you know they're Amazon affiliate links, so I'll get some kickback, but it doesn't cost you guys any more. So like I said, I was going to let you guys in on how I make some of the money back to reduce the price of this hobby a little bit. Number 1 is obviously going to be selling honey. Number 2, what I do is I'll actually order bulk boxes, so I get about 36 boxes at a time, and I will build them and sell them as a assembled box for a few bucks extra per, reducing my cost a little bit. And then another service I'm probably going to start offering next year once I build up my colonies where I want them. I'm going to offer pollination services. So for about $2.50 a hive, I'll put a hive on somebody's property, I maintain it, and then I also get the kickback of all that honey. I hope you guys have a great year beekeeping, and hit me up with any comments or questions. You guys take it easy. Happy farming. Peace.